Maybe
Mm,
we spend so much time thinking about the generational trauma that we don't have an opportunity to really take witness of the generational legacy.
absolutely.
Because your faith and your hopefulness was something that you saw. You saw her crying, you saw those sad
Mhm,
moments as well, but that faith is what I believe draws people to you. I think it's one of the things that inspires people when they come into
mhm,
contact with you, and that's a part of your mom's legacy, and now you're continuing that legacy even with your children, even down to
mhm.
generational legacy when it comes to business. Can you tell me how it feels to acknowledge generational trauma but also begin generational legacy, or I guess not even begin it, but expand the generational legacy that you have in your own life and identity?
It's hard to acknowledge the trauma. Let me
Mm,
say that. It is very, very hard. Um, for so long, I felt like things were happening to me, and I couldn't really pinpoint a person to blame, but I just always felt like deep down, this is not my fault. It's not my
mm,
fault that I've had to experience this, or it's not my fault that this happened. And I think accountability
mm,
for, I'm not going to say the parts that we played, but just
yeah,
accountability that, okay, well, I was this way because this happened.
yeah,
That does not make the fact that just because this happened, it doesn't make it okay that I was this way. Okay, you need to heal that. Um, for a long time, I would lash out, and I felt like I always had to speak on how I felt. Like I couldn't just walk away from situations. I felt like I had to address everything and how I felt. And at the end of the day, that didn't change the situation at all. That didn't do anything but make me even angrier. So it's just things like that. Um, but I can say when it comes to the generational healing, I'm not going to say had to isolate myself from my family, but everyone is not always on the same page. And I feel like there is a lot of healing that needs to take place within my family, especially within the women in my family. Um, and, going back to when you spoke on grace, like, okay, well, everyone is not where they need to be now, but I understand that it's a process. And
yeah.
so I still have to show them grace for where they are now, you
Mm.
know?
Yeah. And that's one of the most challenging things for us to do. But my mom has this
Hmm.
saying, her saying is just because you graduated, don't burn the schoolhouse down. Just because you healed, just because you left them,
Right,
just because you got
right,
the job, just because you're
right.
budgeting better, don't forget what it was like when you were in a moment where
Absolutely.
you didn't have the tools and resources. But it's hard because we get to
Absolutely.
that other side and we start feeling ourselves a little bit. But I think humility and grace for other people are the only way that we
Hmm.
really inspire change.